tools, lower is the better. Right, so I have this comparison. Then you go a little below, you have intelligence index, you have agentic index also, by the way, right? Agentic index, capability of doing the code writing, right? Agentic, how they are good at tool calling, that is what you call agentic index, right? You go down how good they are, which model is ranking on the top. Then you have these some of the benchmarks, right? If you click on it, you'll be able to see what does it mean, right? If I click on it, I have a challenging benchmark measuring large language models' ability to extract, reason about, synthesizing information on long form document, right? LCR itself stands for long context reasoning. So this is LCR benchmark, right? So you will have a lot of benchmarks. I mean, you don't have to go into that depth, but I'll be the one who is selecting the best model for my AI agent, right? This is how I'll choose the right model for my right agent, that have the reasoning capabilities, that have the cost effectiveness, and that is faster in generating these tokens, or I would say predicting these tokens, right? That's how I'll be selecting the right model for my AI agent. And once I have selected the brain, right? Once I am done with the brain, now I am left with the body part, right? Which is the body again, right? Like this is like little, I mean, you going into the depth of how does this thing work, what is chain of thoughts, right? So this is my exactly breaking down of my goals using something called chain of thoughts, right? So it's a prompting technique published by Google, by the way, right? I can show you, I can share you the link. So if you go here, right, this is the prompting technique released by Google, chain of thoughts, which means, if I tell you, right, I mean, very simple idea, you will say that how it can become a technique, right? But very novel idea, very simple idea. They have lot of problem statement, they have given the lot of reasoning questions, and AI was doing a bad job on it, right? When I say bad job, that means answers were incorrect. They gave this a command that let's think step by step, break it down into step by step, and think logically, right? These are all keywords they tried to implement, and they saw the correct output, right? You have the example here in the paper also mentioned that it was giving the wrong answer, and this is, I am talking about 2022, right? Early, this paper came in 2022 by Google research team, early Jan 2023, right? So you can imagine just the beginning of AI era. Because now if you say that if I go and ask any AI model these logical puzzles, it will always be correct, right? So now by default, these models uses my chain of thoughts. So they tried it out, right? They saw the good results, and now they have implemented, right, zero shots chain of thoughts, that now by default my reasoning model is having all these techniques, right? So now this is my planning system which uses underlying chain of thoughts to break down my goal into multiple steps. And you will see same thing happening with Claude Code, same thing happening with Cursor, same thing happening with VS Code. Any editor you use, the planning mode will have these steps going into it, right? You give a goal and it will be breaking down. I'll show you practically once we'll reach, but this is my planning system. Tool interaction, all of this we have already seen, right? How it is interacting with my all the third-party systems, right? My web browsing, files, API calls, and other agents as well. That is my tools. And finally, I will see the actions coming out from my AI agent. And who is taking these actions? The large language model is giving these actions to agent to execute and call the right tool, right? This is how combining all together you can build a AI agent, right? So now if you start a project on AI agent, you need these four fundamental things. How you plan it, right? You have a planning module. I mean, backend AI agent itself has this planning module, but this is where you need to focus on, which is the tools. AI agent cannot solve this standalone. Here is human input needed. What all tools accesses, how to configure, give your API access, how to connect your MCP servers is still where you will be deciding what all things I need to give to my AI agent, right? Rest of the things it will take care of it. What sequence I need to follow, in which order I need to call this tool, that will be job of my AI agent, right? now you know, understand agents. First pattern which we are building is basic responder. That means human guides the entire flow, right? You will be the one who is guiding, but LLM is responding. this crew of 5 people team will work on backend, right? Your cabin crew is responsible for flight management, right? The cabin crew itself, air hostess, I mean, everything else. I mean, everyone else who is there inside that crew. So this word itself means, and that's where the reason the name itself is crew.ai, right? You build multiple agents or personalities, right? That's the name they have given crew. Now you have agents. I have only one agent, right? So I'm not building a multi-agent. I'm building one agent. So I have only one agent. Let's say, right, tomorrow you'll be building multi-agent. I'll have multiple agents here inside my crew, right? So I'll build a crew of 5 agents. I'll build a crew of 10 agents, depending on my task. But as of now, to begin with this session, right, I don't want to overload you. So this is my one agent, one task, right? This is my crew, and this is the text where we are testing this out. And you see crew.kickoff, where my model is running it, right? So I'll go to terminal. I mean, maybe start this, right? Where my terminal is exactly, right? Where I think this is where I have, right? So I'll just type Python, right? I'll start this main.py. Right now, it will invoke my crew.ai. It will invoke that agent. It will go and classify it. And response is hate speech. Right? This is where I have got my entire output. Right? So I can see what is happening. I can double click. I can add to chat, right? I mean, ask the follow what is happening. So verbose is equals to false. That means it is not letting me output anything else. I mean, it is just giving me what the final output is. Let me change it to true, right? That means it will give you the entire step-by-step instruction, what it has followed, right? So once I make it verbose equals to true, that means it has to ideally give me why it is not printing. Mm, yes, I am printing. I should have got, this is okay, not saved. Sorry, my bad. Right, so now it will be going into verbose, it will be true. So now you see, right, you have the detailed answer. So you see task, right, hate speech, agent started. This is the task which you have given, agent final answer, hate speech detector, hate speech, final answer, task completed. So bunch of metadata is coming along if I make it as my true, right? If I want just my prediction, right, I can simply make it false. And now it will be just giving me the true or false. I mean, hate speech versus non-hate speech, because that's what I have instructed in. So if I change this, right, if I change this to some other sentence, right, let's say, I mean, again, I'll take some example of hate speech. Let's say, let's ban, let's say, right, I'm just taking example. Let's ban the entry of transgender in temples, right? I'm just taking example. This is again the hate speech, right? So I'll just save it. I'll just run this once more. And now my AI agent is able to classify it, whether it's hate speech or not, right? Again, it's a hate speech, right? So now you see, right? Depending on your input, you have built your first AI agent. As soon as someone is building a top, I mean, writing a tweet, it can go and detect immediately, right? How much seconds? I mean, I would say 2 to 3 seconds, right? Immediately it will go away from the Twitter platform if it is belonging to a hate speech, right? If I just make it something good, right? AI agents is the future of workspace, right? This is something I want to tweet about, right? Okay, I have double quotes. Yes, I'll just save it. And this is not belonging to a hate speech category. Ideally, if I run this, I will be getting a non-hate speech, right? No hate speech detected, finish, response done. And you see the hardly how much lines of code done, right? This is your task.py, which is hardly 18 lines of code. And you have your agents.py, which is where you have defined your agents. This is how you have defined your very first agent using crew.ai, and Cursor is just the platform which you can go and build. Can I get a quick check in the chat that you got to know how this agent is working, right? Can I get a quick thumbs up? Yes, in the chat. Now I'll show you the rest of the features and then I'll go back to the slides. And we are left with, I would say, few more slides and we'll be ending up very soon. So I just want your next 10 to 15 minutes. Perfect. I think a lot of enthusiasm, lot of yes. Great, right? Great. Perfect. Now, I've showed you one thing, which is the ask mode, right? Now, let's say I want to add few more rules inside my task.py, right? I'll plan it out first, right? Let's say I had left with some edge cases. So I will go into the plan mode and I'll give the file name, right? Task.py. I think some edge cases are left where AI should, right, should detect hate speech. Can you add? Right? Can you see I'm using an AI? I'm using the plan mode. By the way, I could have used directly an agent mode also. It will go and directly change my code, right? I'm using the plan mode so that I can first see what AI is thinking. I can give my inputs. I can interact, right? Imagine this as my co-developer, right? I have some intern. I have hired some intern. I am talking to that intern, right? I found the gap, only given broad instruction, right? What do you want the edge cases, right? You see, right? This is the power of planning. Strengthen the task spawn with explicit edge rules, quotes, sarcasm, right? Exactly, right? There is no sarcasm right of now in my instruction. This is simply saying race, ethnicity, gender. If someone is sarcastically mocking some religion, sarcastically, right? How it will be able to detect? So I will have this also. How conservative should detection when it is uncertain? Prefer caching more potential hate speech, higher recall, more balanced precision, only flag when clearly hate speech, right? Yes, I'm fine with it, right? Don't block anyone else's tweet, right? You should be have a balanced thing. Great, it is clear. Now I have this. You see the plan is there. Refine the beginner task prompt to handle the tricky hate speech, and you have this task description with this edge cases, right? So it has defined that I have three to-dos, right? Can you correlate with our session? We started off the planning that I give a high level task, model will break down into goals. Now it has three tasks where it is giving me that, hey, I want to this do this, validate the behavior with this final main.py, and I will update the user prompt. So it is giving me the plan, right? I can view the plan, I can change something. You see, it has clearly mentioned plan changes. Rewrite the description prompt for this task to include the edge cases. What it will be doing, all these things, right? I'm good with this. I'll click on build. Now it will actually go and change my entire prompt in front of you. That's how I'm co-creating with AI, right? So now it is in the agent mode. Agent is writing, right? Agent is writing more edge cases for my prompt so that I can have it inside my task.py, right? You can see in the real time, it has all these new rules, right? Which is 6th, 7th got added, and I'll say keep the file, and you see my file got updated with new rules, right? Do not label the hate speech for profanity, rudeness, insults, if a helpful language is quoted, and so on. So I have got this. Now it is asking me, should I run this, right? It wants to run my main file to test it out. It can go and run. I mean, I can simply go it run myself, but this is how your AI agent is building alongside you. You don't have to worry about it, right? You have to test it. Obviously, you have to test it, but this is how your AI agent is working alongside. Perfect, right? So I hope everyone able to understood. Let's move on and go to the next part of slides, right? Where I want to explain you about the last part, which is Claude Code, right? Where this cursor will comes and where the Claude Code comes. So live demo is done, right? So some pro tips, give a clear context, keep it under this 50% rules, right? You can create your own rules folder, like where you have created your front end engineer, your back end, right? I'll just show you once. So you can create your cursor rules. I mean, this is just a folder, nothing else, right? I can create this dot cursor. You can see here, right? I can create a rules here which will be talking about these environment, right? This fast API Python cursor rule. So there is some rules written, right? In this is something principles, right? .md file that you should be building scalable file, right? How this things you want to write under the hood. That's what it is means by rules, right? So this crew dot sorry cursor dot AI is having you, I mean, keep your smaller task, right? Build feature by feature. Don't give a very long list of features to implement at once, right? Go step by step. So plan the features, then build, and you will see the magic happening. If you give very complex feature, right, multi-step, that hey, go and build a new agent which can talk to each other, multi-agent. If you start with this step, your cursor will fail, right? Or it will give you wrong outputs. It might work, you might have to debug, and so on. If you have multiple cross repository, right, this cursor will not be able to refer to it because it has multiple different codes to refer, right? So this is not completely autonomous. This is working alongside you inside your IDE. And that's the only autonomy gap that we have, right? So to solve this, we have something called Claude Code, right? To solve this autonomy gap, that you go and build entirely from scratch everything you want. That's where the hype is all about, right? You might be hearing a lot about Claude Code. This is an autonomous agent, right? Which is mostly terminal based, but now we have the connector inside our extensions in VS Code in this, right? So it can be called inside AI, I mean, IDE also, but I prefer terminal. I'll show you. So this is for complex task, right? And you'll see maybe tomorrow you're building something. So agents create the plan. Agent is building all the files, right? It is not something implementing or changing one file. It is changing and implementing all the files inside the code, what it is needed. Let's say your code need 20 files. It will make all these 20 files. Change all of them if it is required parallelly. This is Claude Code, right? So it will again do the four things: planning, tools, memory, and execution. And you can start with multi-turn queries. Everything you can do, right? I'll show you on a very high level before I end, right? I have this installed inside my terminal, right? I'll go here. Let's say open it again. First of all, how to install? Again, go here, install Cloud Code. You might be needing, I mean, plan, right? You have to purchase this. It's not free. Cursor is free, by the way, up to very large extent. So Cursor you can download. It is free, but Cloud Code is paid. So you have to buy and then install it via curl command again, right? So Cursor is free. I am using the free plan, by the way. Whatever I am doing here, you see here, right? On the top, upgrade to Pro. I am using free plan in the Cursor. I am not using any paid plan for these things, right? This is running for free to me. But yeah, the model is limited. If I want to use, let's say, advanced model, then I have to go and pay. So I'm using the free version, which works well for me. So I don't have to, because I have a Cloud Code, which is the paid product. Now, once you install this, I can go to this path, right? I'll go to this path, let's say, where my these projects are present, right? I'll go to this personal projects. Let's say I'll start my Claude. Right, so if I type now command Claude, my Claude code gets started inside this particular session. Right, so this is where you can see I am inside my Claude Code window. Right, I can see all my codes here. Right, I can do all the changes, whatever I want to do. I can do this. Right, I can do ls. I mean, or list all. I can type, right, list all code. It will list it out. All the file names. Right, I can do bunch of commands to see. Right, I can see context, which tells me about the context window of my AI agent, right? Once it is run, I can see my context window. I can see now bunch of details, right? You can see all my scripts are there. It is telling me that I have all these notebooks, I have all these things. If I want to go and create something new, right, which I don't want to as of now, but I can do something via plan mode, right? So here also you will see everything. You have a plan mode, you have an execution mode, like how cursor was giving you. So I can plan a new feature inside this, which will start everything from scratch, right? So I can say something that I want to build a multi-agent system, right? So I can type static giving this high level goal. It will plan and it will write all the files for me, right? I want to, let's say, build multi-agent systems, let's say for, let's say, right, I'll take any case, right? Let's say for stock prediction, right? Where it will do fundamental analysis, right? Analysis, technical analysis, and sentiment analysis, right? I want to build something which is doing all this. I give a high level goal. It will go plan it out. It will think around the architecture, right? I'll co-create with AI and it will write entire thing, right? I mean, entire means everything. So that's how my Claude Code works. So I'll just stop building it. Right. So this is how Claude Code actually go in depth, create multiple files. It can refer all your complex architecture, right? And that's how it will make the entire code base, right? All, let's say it need 20 files, it will go and create 20 files. The only thing you are limited is with the number of tokens, right? So that's what I always say. When you are using Claude Code, people are going out of tokens, but you can create anything, right? So if you have a pro plan, which is quite expensive, you can build everything, right? People are building full software systems using Claude Code. Right, and everything is running via claude.md file, right? So this is like an operating manual again. If I show you, right, I have the Claude Code coming in, right? I think in a different path. I'll open my this same path, right? Open folder, not this, right? Where I have my personal projects, right? I'll open a new window. I have my personal projects listed out in the new window, right? This is personal projects, and you'll be seeing the Claude Code MD file, right? So it has the folder .claude. It has all these JSONs, right? Agents, all these is written as a markdown files, which is the set of instructions, right? So all these are my set of instructions given to an AI. It's like a code for it. So now explicitly what you're doing, you are giving your thinking to this, right? Adhere to solid principles. As an engineer, you know what is solid principles, right? SQL injection, you should be aware of senior code optimizer, right? So you are giving your knowledge of whatever you have learned throughout, you are giving it in the text so that AI can operate on it, right? Let's say front end engineer. If someone of you is a front end engineer in this call, I'm defining those principles, right? Use this principle, right? Use this technologies, CSS, Tailwind, right? I'm myself a backend engineer, but I know what CSS is, right? HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So you're defining the entire rules as how front end engineer works, right? So that AI can follow these steps and can verify once your code is being built, right? This is power of my Claude Code, which can go and build autonomously without your intervention. You just make a plan and then AI will handle the rest of the things, right? That's where my AI agent is being positioned. Just a second, right? So this is how the Claude manual looks like. And finally, you have your Claude tips, right? So it's like a multi-agent, like how I showed you, right? It is having all these agents who can work parallelly. So this is built on multi-agent pattern, right? So they can call, once I given the high level goal that I want to design a stock analyzer, I have a backend code, I have a front end code, all will start parallelly. So, right, all my agents can start this work parallelly. Obviously, they need to interact. They will be interacting. It will take 20-25 minutes. I can go and do something else. Once I'm back, my entire software system is being written or my entire code is being written. I just need to go and test it out. Right? This is power of Claude Code, right? So you write a clear goal, not detailed instruction, use Claude.md. Planning mode is essential for complex tasks, and rest you need to just review the output, right? That's how the autonomous agent works, right? Your Codex, your Gemini CLI, your Claude Code, your Moonshot AI, all of them fall under the same category, right? But if you have very large database, right, very large code base, you should be aware that it can go out of tokens, right? So you should start with something if you want to build from scratch. If you want to work on existing code base, make sure you are not giving a very large code base, right? I mean, 100, 200 files. It will go out of context window, right? So your domain expertise, it requires what problem you are solving. Again, your skills will come in, right? And UI, UX design decisions, right? So this is where you should be giving, and this is like you can say mantra for using AI now in software engineering, that you can use the combination of these tools, right? You don't have to rely on only one. So this is generally a best combination, that you can use the research Claude.ai for research purposes. You can use the plan, right? I mean, Claude.ai is the front end app. A lot of people thinks that they are same. Your Claude.ai is this app, right? Your front end app, which is free in the sense you can use for very large limit, right? I mean, once a day you can use for a good amount of tokens in the free plan also. So use research for this Claude.ai, get the documentation done, come to Cursor and let implement the plan. What do you want to, I mean, once you got that, hey, I want to build this, right? You have the entire research done, plan it with Claude Code, come to Claude Code, do the quick edits in the cursor and let Claude Code mention or run the full implementation. Now, if you have any feature change, right, like how I built my task.py thing, right, how I want my this line to be changed and added once in the task.py file, you can do this inside your cursor, right? So one changes, few changes one at a time, you can use cursor, but a very big change which you are starting from scratch, you should use Claude Code for the implementation, right? That's the power of combination. I mean, you don't have to restrict on one thing. So that's how choosing your best strategy to build your AI agents. So with that, I'll just quickly summarize, right, what we have covered. So far, we started off with what is an AI agent, the four pillars of my AI agent, the agentic patterns, right? Four pillars, if I just quickly summarize: planning, planning, LLM, we have tools, and we have actions, right? Those are my four pillars. Agentic patterns we talked about. I mean, you can type in the chat if you want. I'm just summarizing it for you. What are the four patterns? We have the four patterns such as basic responder, we have tool calling, we have multi-agent, we have router pattern, right? And the fifth one was the autonomous agent. Now we have developed, right, how to use cursor, how to use Claude Code, and we solved one case study of Twitter detecting hate speech in near real time, right? Near real time means as soon as tweet got pasted or posted on Twitter, my AI agent should go and detect the whether it's a hate speech or not. So this all we have covered, right? Now the last slide before I hand over to Om, right? Security. I know a lot of people say, what about security? Should I give production access, or if what if my code goes wrong? That's the reason we never give production access to AI agent, right? No matter Claude Code is doing wonders, no matter Claude Code is phenomenal, still I will not give my production access, right? This should be your blueprint that I will make AI write my code. I will review it. I will plan with it first of all, right? Before even writing a code, I'll plan with it. I'll review the generated code. I will test it. Once I get everything is correct, then only you are the one who will be raising the PR and deploying those changes, right? So you will never give AI that you go and deploy also. I can go and chill, right? No, you develop with it, but you have to be sitting on the seat where you need to implement and taking the responsibility also if something goes wrong, right? So that is where you have to be keep sure, keep your sensitive data out of your prompts, right? I've seen a lot of people putting their API keys in the prompt. So you should not avoid that, right? You should give all these keys in the environment file and keeping it secure. So with that, I think I'll hand over to Om. We are done with day one. So over to you. Meanwhile, I'll take a water break. So Om, over to you.
Perfect, perfect. We are done with the first part. Perfect. Folks, we have time remaining. So everybody who was asking, can we take a break? Do that, right? Now we'll take about a few questions. Use this time as a break before we jump to the final part of the day, which is part two, where I show you a few more frameworks in detail of what you should go deeper and how you should think about it and what's coming up tomorrow. A very quick recap. But yeah, mostly we'll focus on that, right? Which we'll spend about 5 minutes of
Yes.
questions so that people can take a break and sort of come back for the part two. Perfect.
Perfect.
I think there's one common question which is coming up, which is everything that you talk about and showed, and since there's a lot of chatter happening about Claude, Opus, models, Codex, right? People can use these LLM models via GitHub Copilot or in their own systems in VS Code as well, right? So, what is the difference between
Yeah.
me using Claude's model, Anthropic's model on Claude Code versus me integrating it on GitHub Copilot? What is the pros and cons of that?
Yes, I think that's what I can do with all the IDs, right? I can do it with Cursor, I can do it with anti-gravity, I can do it with VS Code. But still, right, like how we showed the limitation of Cursor, right, where the Cursor can implement one or two file changes, it cannot depend on inter-repository things, right? It cannot work. You can say, imagine building entire piece of code in one go, which is very large, right? Short codes, yes, right? Very short codes, yes. But if I have to build entire system, right? Like I want to design the entire software system from scratch for a problem, then it might struggle, right? So because they are using API, it might struggle. So what you can do is you start a code and go step by step, one change at a time, one feature at a time. Then you can use cursor or these VS code also. But when you want autonomy, right? Autonomous agents, like these are all my autonomous agents, like cursor, like Cloud Code, where they understand your problem statement. And once you start implementing, right, you go and chill, they will go and implement the entire thing. So that's the biggest difference, right? If it requires you 100 files, it will go and build it 100 files, right? You don't have to wait and click a button. I mean, I can give that access that you go and build now. AI like Cloud Code will go and build the entire system for you, front end, back end, APIs, all the things what is required, right? SQL DB, everything it will configure it for you. That's the difference.
Understood. Great. Right. And that stands true for anti-gravity and other search tools as well, right? For this.
Yes.
Understood. Got it. Perfect. Perfect. So we spoke about router pattern, we spoke about tool calling, we spoke about multi-agent and autonomous pattern. Someone is asking, is AWS Cairo not as good as Claude or Cursor? Or how do you choose one? Or how do you sort of decide your tool stack?
I think it's mostly, I would say, biasness, right? I mean, I haven't used this AWS one, but mostly if you see, right, the hype is all about this Cloud Code only. I've tried Codex and Cloud Code, and I find, I mean, Cloud Code is unbeatable, right? So that's how, I mean, you will get your bias once you start building it. So that's how, I mean, people are choosing.
Understood. Got it. Now, there's one more additional question. Definitely, we spoke very quickly about security. The question is, should we use tools like Claude for on a personal plan for coding in enterprise or organizational projects? Is there any risk that Claude or other LLMs could expose? And what you should look for? And similar to how do we use the free versions of Eclipse for development or tools like that, which can help in overall SDLC?
Right. So I would say, like, I mean, the first question, if it is your enterprise code, right, all your coding files and your companies are not allowing you to, let's say, have a cloud code, right? So I think first is you should ask them. Second, the API route, right? I mean, they are giving us the API. So that's the privacy policy of Anthropic that they can't read your code, right? So whatever you are brainstorming, or I am opening a folder inside my local code, right? I am using Cloud Code to build on top of it, make a changes in my code. So they are not reading your code. This is as per the policy of Anthropic. So what they are claiming it out. So I have to go with that trust that okay, they are not going. And once you confirm, you can still use in your enterprise, right? We are using because we have given by enterprise itself, like license in enterprise. So we are using Cloud Code and VS Code, GitHub Copilot.
Got it. Perfect. And there are a lot of questions around two things, right? Common pattern, which is which model is good for what tools to use versus LangChain, Crew and a lot of things that we spoke about.
Right.
And how do you select if I should use Azure or if I should sort of stay to AWS Bedrock, uh, right? Or let's say a lot of tools that people are using on their systems and company today, right? So should they switch? Should they not? How do you tackle, for example, a person who's already using a lot of these tools and also building one? How do you recommend organizations to adopt AI with the current systems that they already have, and how do they make a decision of that?
Yes, so let's break it down, right? First is the choice of model, right? So I would say, I mean, if I am solving code related tasks, right? Again, this is my biasness, right? And if you see the benchmarks, like how we showed in today's session, right? We have artificial analysis.ai. So I'll go and select the best top two or three models, right? Which is, let's say, GPT 5.5, Gemini Pro, and Claude Code, which is Opus model. I mean, Claude Opus model, right? Which is my LLM. So once I got my brain selected based on all the factors, right? Costing also. So if you say that Opus is the most expensive model, I can switch it down to Gemini 3 Pro, right? Which is also very good in the benchmarks. So I chose my right model based on my costing analysis, by my intelligence analysis. Two factors will come in. Now my second is which framework I should go about, right? That's the, I would say, key thing to choose. So as I mentioned, right, you have LangChain, you have AutoGen, you have Crew.ai, right? All these are the patterns where the people have built agent, right? They have built an orchestrator how to build these agentic system. Now I would say everything is under the hood, right? It can be either Python or they have a support in JavaScript also, right? All these languages have, all these frameworks have JavaScript code or else Python code. So if you understand, I mean, if you have seen already crew.ai, right? How the orchestration is being done, that you have one single file of crew where you call the agents. You have a separate file for task.py. So if you understand this, you can correlate with this example, go and select the crew.ai. The problem you can build, I mean, I can do the same thing, which is hate speech detector in LangChain. I can do that. But the syntax will change, right? The length of code might change. It will increase to a little bit, right? So these frameworks will keep on changing, right? You see, you are using crew.ai today, maybe let's say tomorrow, 2 years down the line, there is something new. So these frameworks will might keep on coming. So choose the one which you feel comfortable reading the code, right? You go to the documentation of both LangChain and go to the documentation of crew.ai. See the boiler template, which is more familiar to you, right? Both are easy to understand, I would say, because I've used both. But once you get familiar that this is the one I'll be using, go with that. That's the simplest thing. Third part, right? Third part to your question is the cloud. Now I've sorted my model, I have sorted my framework. Now the list is where I'll deploy it, right? Let's say which cloud I should choose. So now I think this answer is a little, I would say again, depending on which access your company has, right? But we have majorly, I would say, three players only, right? You have Google, you have Microsoft Azure, and you have AWS, right? So whatever it feels like, all the offerings are same. I would say, if you ask me, what is the easiest, right? I mean, my easiest would be Azure because that's like how I am using it from last 4 or 5 years. But I have compared it with GCP and Azure. Both are very simple to use, right? Both simple. I mean, you go to this platform, you invoke it. So you have your like resource ID created, your resource group created. So whatever you can go and build. And by the way, you get free credits also, right? So if you are a student, if you are having a, you can say startup domain and all, you get a free credits of these clouds. So go and buy these free credits, register whatever company gives you those free credits, right? You can build on top of it. That's how I tell, right? You go and buy the, I mean, get the free credits by just registering as a entrepreneurship account, right? You just need a domain, you can get the free credits.
Understood. Got it. The second chain of trend of questions are how I am a QA engineer. How is AI for me? Where do I use it? I am into networking and cybersecurity. How and where do I use AI? I am into testing. I am into you know I'm someone who's using, let's say, old languages like C sharp or .NET.
Hmm.
Is AI for me? So definitely we have understood today AI for engineers, but what exactly does that mean for people coming in from different, how they should look at implementing in their particular domains? I think if you can clarify that for a lot of people.
Right. I think that's again, I always get this question, right? So I would say definitely, I mean, the languages which are, I would say traditional, right? Like in which the traditional code is written. I mean, the compiler codes or the Windows itself, right? C, C++. AI struggles in that. That is very true, right? AI struggles with writing those pieces of code if it is very advanced. And the reason to that is simple because we don't have much of that training data also. So if you want to build, right, AI agents, you want to do something in agentic AI, I would prefer to go and learn Python, right? That's where the community support is there. That's where the entire, you can say, modules are being written, right? You pick up crew.ai, LangChain, A2A, everything has the Python support. So, and if you do a Google search, right, Python is the hottest or the number one language entire world, right? Worldwide. So now it has been picked it up, but definitely it has some drawbacks. It is quite slow when it comes to rendering, right, compared to C, C++. So there are I mean, pros and cons of each programming language. So if you want to build something in I would say start with at least JavaScript or Python, right? That's the go-to thing. And if you are a QA tester, right, you can define your use test cases, right? You can learn and you can use it in your day-to-day work job also. Front-end engineers who are into front-end from last, I would say 10, 20 years, you can improve your skills, right? UI, UX skills. What is the better UI? How to use CSS, how to use JavaScript, React frameworks, right? How you can let AI design it, animate your entire website, right? I've seen phenomenal website using Claude Codes. So you can also use similar technology, similar Claude Code to build your front ends. So I think everything is there. If you are someone who is handling databases, right? You can make a natural language wrapper on top of a database. Why not? Right? So far, I have to write long SQL queries to get the output data. You build a natural language where I go and type something. I want my last quarter sales. What are my top selling products? Underneath, LLM writes this query to the database and give me the answer. So you can build any example on top of your existing skills also, but I would say Python will be my strong recommendation.
Understood. And I think the final question, which is again a trend. I am not from tech. A lot of things that we saw today were code. And we have seen a lot of people who are non-techies now build as well, right? So
Yeah.
what are the challenges that a non-tech person would face, and how easy or difficult it is to get through? And what are the things that a person like that should keep in mind to sort of, make it slightly easier in terms of that? You already mentioned Python is one. So what would you add to
Right.
that?
Yes. So I would say start. I mean, any non-tech person who is starting his or her tech journey, right? The first thing is you should learn the programming, right? Fundamentals of programming, which is basic, how to define a variable, how to do if else, and all of that, right? The basics of programming. That's the first thing. Other is getting to know the tech, right? Getting to know the tech jargons, right? Like what is server, what is cloud, right? How I can go and what is deployment, first of all, deployment, what is local host, what is, so get to know all these jargons of what engineers use. Go in little depth of once you learn Python, so you'll go into a data structures also inside Pythons, right? How this is defined. So you'll get to know these things in a much better way and you will be able to understand. Now, once you know these terms, at least you can go and write a prompt, right? For example, if you want to build, let's say you want to query a database, right? This example only. Now you know what is database, you know the underlying SQL. I can write a prompt to my Claude code that I want to build a natural language interface where you should design a front end, user can go and write natural language response or query, and you convert it into a SQL queries. Run those SQL queries in the SQL DB and get me the output in the natural language again as an output. So you know what is database, what is server, all of that jargons. You compiled it in your prompt and you have given to AI. It has given you the code. You go and try it out. You are done. Right. So that learning curve is little shortened, but you should know the underlying tech and jargons, right? What tech jargons are. So you should spend some time in learning those jargons.
Understood. Perfect. I think that was it for the first part. Thank you so much, Divij, for spending time with us and taking a lot of questions. Now, folks, I see definitely there are a lot more other questions. I am going to answer them already in a couple of times, so that's included. Also, there are a lot of questions which we are already going to talk about and go deeper into tomorrow, right? So, Divij ended with a case study of Twitter and showed you what Cloud Code and Cursor is. We are going to pick from that and get deeper into agentic AI, right? Divij, any final words and something for tomorrow that people should look out for?
Yes, definitely. I think, I mean, all the resources and all people are asking. So we'll be getting that tomorrow for sure, right? All the code. So don't worry about the code part. Plus, now you have the fundamentals, right? I want you to imagine that you have now fundamental clear what is AI agent, what is agentic patterns. You will be building one multi-agent system tomorrow, which is the case study for tomorrow, right? You will be not be doing any theory tomorrow because theory is done in today's session and we have a beginner level case study also. So tomorrow you'll start from the advanced level. You have to build a multi-agent. You'll see how they are talking to each other. So that way, that's a learning curve, right? And anyone can, who is interested, I always say that if you have a curiosity mindset, you can learn. So just come with open mind, how things are working under the hood, you'll be able to understand, right? That's it. And I think a lot of people are asking, I'll share, you can connect with me. If anyone feel that we haven't answered their question, come connect with me. I'll try to answer if you have the question in my DM, right? So I'll try my best.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Divij, for joining us. I think I'll take over for
Thank
the
you.
second one. Folks, can we say thank you to Divij in the chat quickly? Oh, nice.
Perfect. See you.
Perfect. Chalo, Divij, we'll see you soon. Got it. That was Divij. That was Divij. Now, let's come back for the second part, and I'll quickly show you what we are going to do and what more frameworks you should learn. Now, most importantly, I saw one question coming in a lot of times, so I'll clarify, move that. Everybody who's asking this question, I am a QA engineer. Where do I use AI? I am a cybersecurity expert. Where do I use AI? Let me ask you this question back. Where can you use AI if AI can help you with three rules, right? Making things better, quality wise, faster, time wise, and cheaper. Imagine this. Look at all the workflows that you implement today, which is a repeatable thing that you do on a daily basis. On the same time, where is there you spend a lot of time, money, or effort, and it is still repeatable, right? That is where you can start using AI and involving AI to make things better, faster, cheaper, and then go deeper into it. No matter whichever professional you are. I am a Java BE developer. Where can I use AI? You tell me, Rachna, right? What exactly do you do in your Java BE development? What are all the workflows? Look at them. Look at what are repeatable stuff that you do on a daily basis, right? What is the outcome of this training? How will it help me in my career? Amit, wait out 2 days, right? Perfect. So let's get to it. Let's get to it. Let's get to the final part of the day, right? Perfect. Tell me if you can see the screen. Tell me all of you if you can see the screen. Yes. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Got it, got it, got it. So as I said, day one, we got done with the first part, which is developer productivity, AI agents. We looked at a Twitter case study. We also went down to look at case study of actually not the case study, but tools like Cloud Code and Cursor, and how do you use it? And we took a few questions, right? Tomorrow morning, we'll get started at 10 a.m. There's still time left. We are going to end at 10:30. We have about good 45 more minutes to go for the day. But tomorrow, once again, we'll start at 10 and we'll go deeper into whatever they were taught. We'll go 1 to 2 step deeper as and when we go. In case if you do not understand a few concepts, we're going to repeat a couple times in different contexts. You can completely understand. There are a lot more questions which are there, which are already going to be answered as we teach and as it comes, right? So hold on to that. Make sure you have notes of these questions. And after the lunch break tomorrow, we'll go deeper into orchestration of agentic workflows. A lot of you asked, right? Can we use Claude Opus in GitHub? Can we use Claude Opus, download the Claude models and use it on Olama for free? What is the difference? How is that? We'll talk deeply about that in orchestration of agentic workflows and how do you build a team of AI agents, right? I told you, we'll show you how can your engineering team become a multi-agent system. So that's what happened. But now let's go deeper into what you should go deeper about and how you should think about your AI native journey, right? So we started with understanding today how AI is transforming the way we work. We also looked at what is that big shift in engineering happening, and we actually looked at what every role is being transferred into. And now, at this point of time, you already know what future of teams would look like. You still have your founders and head of departments, and then you have AI native engineers building agents for specific use cases and roles, along with a team of AI agents does and acts like a team of a tech which does the job, right? We learned how generative AI models operate and where can you find their benchmarks? How do you actually look at it? Where do you find a lot of platforms, right? He covered a lot of tools. We looked at how do you build system prompts? How do you look at system prompt? How do you do prompt engineering? And the quality of your prompt defines the quality of your outputs, right? This is basically a structure of a prompt that we normally talk about as a starting point, which is a system prompt. You start with the role, you start with a task, you add an instruction, data, and what exactly you want it to do, and if you have any action items, right? We'll definitely talk and go deeper into this tomorrow. Also take a screenshot very quickly, as you see this, right? So now, the most important part, everybody who is going to use or is using Gen AI already, this is all is required for you to understand what's happening in the ecosystem and what do you adopt, right? It is into 6 sub brackets. First one, starting with this, right? Here are all the frameworks that you should go deep and explore into, right? The first is LLM frameworks. How do you understand LangChain? A lot of you, anyways, asked a lot of questions about LangChain, LangGraph. We're going to cover that tomorrow and show you how to, pick between LangChain, Crew AI, and how and what all you could do. We look at Crew of AI agents, the which already showed you that. We look at what happens in LangChain. So that's one. LangChain, LangGraph. Look at Llama Index along with Hugging Face, right? Hugging Face is where you'll find a lot of closed source model, right? Can someone answer how many open models are available and what tools do you access at in the chat? How many LLM models are available today for you to access? Do you know that? Okay, a lot of you do. Good, you are paying attention. Right, correct. More than 650, right? And you can find that and access that over Open Router, right? But if you want a lot of private models, right? That's where Hugging Face helps you, where a lot of builders who have built interesting models or organizations which have been proprietary models, you can go ahead and access there. The second bucket is model serving and inference. A lot of you said very nice thing, right? Can we just download Claude and use it for free on Olama? And that's what is called serving a model on a platform and managing that inference, which happens through VLLM, which happens through Olama, which happens on Fast API, LangServe, Modal, and Replicate, right? Once again, if this is all French and German, we are going to go deeper on a lot of this stuff tomorrow once again, right? But understand, this is your all ecosystem. This is where you decide what Gen AI stack will you utilize and where exactly in your workflows, right? What are these frameworks? The third bucket is agent tool calling, right? How exactly an agent is able to operate the tool that you give it access to. If I say book tickets for me, how exactly does it take access, actually go on the platform and actually books the ticket for me? That happens through MCP servers, right? Or MCP that is available by the organization or developers who have built, which are two platforms. You can go to Composio. You can also go to Smithery, which are plug and play platforms available where you can go access and connect with MCP servers along with OpenAI tool calling services, right? If you're using OpenAI's infrastructure. The fourth bucket is retrieval and vector storage, right? Where do you store this data and how, right? LandsDB is a platform which helps you do that. You can look at Pinecone. David showed you an automation on N10. You saw Pinecone coming in there. VV8 and Milvus are a few examples. How do you design front end for an or UI for AI apps? Right. A lot of things that David showed you were code, but how exactly when you present it to your other teammates or to your customers, how does it have a front end? How do you build that? Right. That's where Gradio, Streamlit, Next.js, and along with OpenAI Realtime helps you with. Right. Finally, where do you run, where do you orchestrate multi-agent frameworks, right? That's where you once again come back to LangGraph. You look at Crew AI, you look at AutoGen, OpenAI Realtime, Llama Index, agents, right? Now, this is just the frameworks. The most important part, right, are the workflows that we recommend you to go very deep into. Now, you might understand frameworks, you might understand the platforms and all, but the most important part is where can you utilize them in your own workflows? As a lot of you already asked, I am an X domain. Where, why do I use it and how, right? The question comes back to you once again. Understand what are the repeatable frameworks at which you want to get one of the three outcomes: better, faster, cheaper. That's where LLM comes in and starts helping you. It's not just that, it's a starting point, and that's what we recommend you some workflows that you need to go deep dive into to solve these problems, which is using AI for workflow automation, using AI for database management along with testing and QA, and also using AI for cloud architecture. How to use AI for developing microservices and API systems, and how to use AI for network security, technical documentation, and also microservices using and log API analysis and alerts with help of AI agents. And the most effective use case, a lot of you have already heard, and I think you might be doing as well, is how do you review code with help of AI, right? And finally, how product management involves AI and where exactly do you fit in, what are the kind of things you do, and not just that, many more of such workflows which you operate today on. These are the starting ones where you should focus on, and tool deep dives, right? We looked at Cloud Code today, we looked at Cursor today, and a few more frameworks like Crew AI, right? But ChatGPT or OpenAI as an ecosystem has a lot of capabilities for developers, along with Anthropic, along with Notebook LM, which is a part of Google's AI Studio. Google's AI Studio itself has about good 20 tools. Notebook LM is a good example, a great example actually of a RAG, which is available open source, which you can test out and see how your RAG could perform, along with Perplexity, which is, as I said, built by data engineers who are now building with AI. Gemini, how does deep research specifically of Gemini work and how effective that is, how an engineer can take leverage and build on top of it. And Hugging Face, we spoke about it, along with Zapier, along with Copilot, along with you might have heard about make.com as well, but focus on N10. That's a much more easier and better control than over these two platforms, right? Manos AI, along with, I already mentioned about Notion and other productivity tools that you can see very real benefit. But for developers, that's where you look at. And then we learned that is not just the tools, but workflows that you need to focus on, because that's where the real ROI lies, right? And what we are learning over these 2 days is setting you up on a journey to become an AI native engineer by helping you get exposed to what you can do with generative AI in your particular job, in your particular workflows, right? To become an AI native engineer, you need to go deeper into multiple levels, right? These 2 days acts as sprint zero and give you an exposure of how do you 10x your productivity in development work around the professions that you are. Do you want to quickly talk about what are the levels or the sprints that you need to take after this so that you exactly know your path of becoming an AI native engineer? Do you want to quickly take a look at how that looks like for you in the chat? Got it. The first sprint, these 2 days are sprint zero. After that, you can spend time on your own on sprint one. Each sprint is about good 3 to 4 months of time where you spend 5 hours a week to sort of contribute there. The first sprint talks about going deeper into mastering model reasoning. There are more than 600 models available, but why? Why is one is different than another? How exactly one reason than another? What is good for your particular task and output? How do you help? How do these models help generate code? How does these models help with building code and interacting with code, right? For your particular use case, tool stack, and whatever technologies that you use, which one is right one and how, right? And how do you understand advanced LLM techniques, right? We didn't get a lot of time to speak about transformers. We didn't get a lot of time to speak about a lot more internal matrix like top P or temperature that happens. But what are these understanding? For example, once you go deep into reasoning, you'll also understand why every model performs differently, which is where your advanced LLM techniques lies. How do you tweak a model into giving you what you want in a format that you would request it to, right? That's sprint one. Sprint two, again, you go deeper into understanding and designing end-to-end workflow automations by connecting AI with APIs, tools, and services, right? Now, as we spoke about MCPs or as we spoke about AI agents can plan and then perform the action with you. How does it do that? When it can connect with these specific tools and through APIs, through different services that you use. That's sprint two, right? Each sprint, 3 to 4 months, 5 hours a week commitment. Okay. Sprint three is where you now start building a RAG, right? Implementing retrieval augmented generation to power AI with your own data layers. Now, one question, right? If was for before I go deeper into this, right? Tell me this: is ChatGPT a RAG or not? As per you, do you think ChatGPT is a RAG? Yes or no? And the crowd always is divided. Let's quickly check. If you say yes, if you say yes, if you say yes, you are incorrect. And I'll tell you why, right? So, ChatGPT is a tool which can help you access OpenAI's models, right? And the information that it is trained on, it's not proprietary. It's available. It's all internet that it's trained on. Its patterns, its answer, its generation happens, right? RAG comes in when you want to build something internally for your own document, for your own information inside an organization, which ensures compliance, which ensures security, right? For example, if I go and ask ChatGPT, how do I learn agentic AI? Or for example, how do I exactly go ahead and build a QA bot to ChatGPT? ChatGPT will give me 10 steps to do it very quickly. But will it be relevant to what I do today? It will not. That's when I build a RAG. And this RAG has information of all our tool stacks, all our company policy documents, all the information that is required to keep in check when we build our system. So next time when I ask a question to a RAG, it will exactly tell me what is allowed, what are the steps you could use, what are the stack that you are allowed to use, and what steps. And that would be 95% accurate to what I exactly want. While ChatGPT, I'll have to constantly keep on giving context again and again and again. And it loses the context because context window is limited. With RAG, you're giving it much more specific information and it can help you actually reach the outcome that you're looking for yourself and the team. So how do you do that? How do you build that is sprint 3. Sprint 4 is where you go deeper into building full stack apps and integrating multimodal AI capabilities. Now, what exactly multimodal means? The full session so far that you saw, we were writing in text, AI was responding in text. Multimodal capability means, like today, ChatGPT could do, you ask it, can you help me generate an image? And it can actually do that. That's multimodality, right? So, how can you build a full stack app which has an accessibility to interact not only via text but also in image? You give an image, it understands it, and you ask it to also generate an image as a user, and it does that for you. So, both sides. Same for audio, same for video, right? And that's when you go deeper and then get into designing your first AI agent. That's what Sprint 5 talks about, where you design. Now, a lot of you said, what if I don't know what is the task I want to give to AI? Is it right for me? How should I learn that first? Till that time you have reached sprint 5, you'll exactly understand where AI can fit and what workflows do you implement. And there is where you start designing, look at deployment, and also monitoring for AI agents, is what you said, which can then help you plan, execute tools, and automate complex tasks. And a few more questions which came out was, if AI can plan for me, why should I exactly give him the steps and task? Because that's the difference between the output that you want and depending on the workflow that you do, right? Most of the times you need to guide exactly what you would want it to achieve in the beginning till the time it figures out and has a lot of context, so that it can then understand exactly your requirement and plan for you like your engineer or fellow developer would do, right? That's sprint 5. Sprint 6 is once you build your monitoring systems, your development for one AI agent. That's when you go broad and build advanced multi-agent systems. Now when you build multi-agent systems, that's when the concept of shared memory and collaboration mechanism comes in. Now what do I mean by that? It means if an AI agent has only one brain, which is, let's say, Anthropic's Opus 4.7 or 4.6 or Haiku, whichever model that is, right? What happens when there are six agents talking to each other? Will that not be a lot of context? And now, do we have to share context from one agent completes 100% context to another for the same task? No, that's where graph comes in, or platforms like LangGraph comes in as a protocol, right? So that a similar memory, one step of memory, one brain can interact with all the agentic systems and share only what's required from one to another, so it doesn't break and hallucinate. At the same time, how do these agents understand and collaborate between each other? For example, how does a front end engineer agent talk to a back end engineer agent and they both understand that I'm talking to a back end engineer agent, right? That's where collaboration mechanism comes in, and we'll go deeper into it tomorrow as well to give you more clarity. But that's sprint 6. Sprint 7 is when you architect and develop a production ready Gen AI product from scratch, right? And that's basically a culmination of sprint 1 to sprint 6, where you should be able to build production ready applications, and depending on the role, depending on your use case, or if you'd want to build something for yourself, right? You have to have a very deep understanding of AI models, not the tools and tools only. Tools are the byproduct and outcome. You have to have a deep understanding of AI models and what you can do with them, so that you are not someone who's just interacting with ChatGPT, but you are someone who's building ChatGPT like tools itself to begin with, right? So that's one. Second, you have to have a strong hold on AI workflows to solve problems. Now, what exactly are AI workflows? They are on your workflows. They are your own workflows which you do on a daily basis. And now you have an understanding of where AI would fit in and how sort of AI models perform, so that you can tweak your workflows and get these outcomes that you have always wanted. Now, these all tools and workflows are way more powerful than what you can imagine. And you should go very deep into each tool and also learn workflows that you can implement, right? Apart from what we suggested, definitely is a great start. AI is also evolving very rapidly, and you not only need to adapt, start learning, but also keep yourself extremely updated. We never knew 2 weeks before Claude design will drop and there's something will change in design world and Figma stock dropped. We never knew 4 months before that Claude is going to come up with multiple agents and it's going to crash the whole IT industry, right? So becoming a continuous learner is what's not only expected, but is a requirement, right? And that's what we or your teams or your organization business sort of expects you to stand out as a true AI native engineer. Do you think only knowledge and practice of AI is enough? In the chat, what do you think? Do you think only understanding and using AI is enough? What else do you think? Why would you do your work better, faster, cheaper? What is the outcome that you respect? Practice is given, folks. I said, is knowledge of AI implementation enough? Is the question. Since a lot of tools, since a lot of models have come up, since a lot of platforms are now building real production grade applications with AI, definitely the bar is up, right? But the teams are also shrinking. The teams are also shrinking, right? So it means you are going to be much more closer to business. apart from these AI skills, you also need to have a strong business understanding to become a problem solver. Imagine you are an engineer, you pick out a problem statement to solve, but right now
This